Hello, everyone, and welcome to Off the Record with Judah
and Kirk.
Today, we're going to be diving right on into yet another episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. We're on episode 4 this week, which I forgot I don't even remember the name of the episode.
I don't think we even looked at it.
Yeah, we definitely didn't, but
it's episode 4.
It's episode 4. We had a really good time watching this one, which is kind of been a rarity watching this show.
Actually, when we first started watching, we were in a slight way dreading going into this, and it kind of started off a little slow, but then
it's a solid episode.
It really got
some
going.
Could even say that it's good. It's not bad.
To spoil a little bit our rankings, it's the best of the season so far.
Yeah, of the 4 that we've had released, this surpasses I think we genuinely agree. I think Gabe has differing opinions. I think this is definitely best episode of season of the 4 episodes we have so far. Yeah.
But before we get too far into this video, make sure you guys go down and like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, comment, tell us what you think. Is this also your favorite episode, or is this the least favorite episode?
Yeah, do you hate this? Or are you thinking we're glazing Star Trek? Like, what are your thoughts, Tell
us exactly what you think. We want to hear it and just see kind of what the general consensus about this is, at least for the people who watch our content. So
yeah.
And also go over to Instagram, Off the Record JK, and follow us there. We post some shorts there that you also see here on YouTube, and we post some
exclusive Instagram content
every once in a while. Yes.
Yeah. But with that being said, we'll dive right on into this episode. So we open and we have our favorite cadets, and they're in a debate class, which is being taught by the doctor, who I think at this point I can declare that, having spent enough time with him in the 4 episodes we've had. And we get, Caleb is great at debate.
Yeah.
He's he's probably the greatest at literally everything.
Yeah.
He should be the
captain.
But
he said later that he uses debate as it's another form of attack, which is kind of a major plot point of this episode. But he uses it as a mode of attack, and because he's been on the run and he's been in prison and things like that, combat is his thing, and so this is just another
extension of that. Yeah. And it's great opening. Really enjoyed it. And then we get Jaden, and it's his turn to come up, and he seizes up, and he's unable to present his point. And then we get him and Caleb have a conversation over food, which they wire a bot to bring them stuff from the replicator.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Which I believe I think they're called dots. But I'm pretty sure it's well established in Star Trek that robots and AI and holograms and everything is conscious and sentient life. And this is now the second time Caleb has
taking control of it.
Hurt in some way. So there was a hologram that he totally fritzed out in episode 2.
Yeah.
When he was about to climb over the wall.
Yeah.
And then there was this little dot thing as well. And it's I feel like we've established that is...
I think it's a little quirk of his character. Maybe he's an anti-machine.
Yes.
A little bit.
But the machines are supposed to be sentient.
Yeah. Okay. So racism still exists in the 21st century.
Caleb is a racist.
But not towards...
He doesn't like them clankers.
Aliens. Yeah, amen. I don't like clankers either. You can quote me on that. I know it's a controversial opinion, but I don't like those clankers.
A controversial opinion that everyone agrees with.
Yeah. With that being said, we get good. They have a good friendship, brotherly dynamic. I like it. I like that it's not. It
starts with rivalry.
It starts with rivalry, and we build into something that's really good, and I like it. But
actually, if you have brothers,
you understand.
If you are a brother to a brother, you understand how literally painful that can be, and this is. Although more on the emotional side at the beginning, at least, there's an aspect of that you can kind of connect with. You can be this is realistic. And they're even though they're arguing, you can see they're actually coming closer together.
Yeah, which is very masculine friendship, very brotherhood coded. Yeah. It's very good. But then Jaden gets called into Nala's office, and we basically get the plot set up for this episode. So a frigate, which is carrying a lot of people from the houses of Klingons, has crashed, and they don't know. Yeah,
it seems like it was, first of all, the ship itself was carrying a lot of Klingons, but it also crashed or exploded onto a refugee settlement that also had a lot of Klingons.
Yeah.
And so this was a serious dwindling to their population numbers.
Yes.
Because and this is actually something that I found very interesting in the kind of world building side of the episode, was they established that Kronos was destroyed during the burn because they had essentially warp cores, but very large ones on the planets to provide electricity.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was like one big one or something like that, a bunch all over the place.
Reaction.
Yeah, and I don't know why then, like, because presumably Earth would have had some, and then why is Earth still here? But whatever the reasoning may be, I still think it's a really cool inclusion to say Kronos was destroyed during the burn. And so now the Klingons are kind of like spread apart, refugees, very similar to the Romulans after either their star or a nearby star. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet in canon, went supernova.
Yeah.
So a kind of similar thing going on there, but now it's in the 32nd century, which I kept getting wrong, saying 32nd in the first video we did on this. Or saying 31st when it should be 32nd. 32nd. Anyway, I'm OCD.
Yeah, but then we get Kirk's favorite intro.
Oh my gosh.
It's great. It's better than
Jude and I are definitely debating this. Tell us in the comments, is the intro to this Starfleet Academy better than the intro to Enterprise with Faith of the Heart? Because Judith says that this is better.
This is so much better.
I say that Enterprise is better. We both agree that neither of them are very Star Trek-y.
Yes,
however,
or good.
Well, I think that the Enterprise one is good.
No.
But not, like as a Star Trek thing. No. Like, it's good, but not as Star Trek. Wow.
Both these are terrible, but this one's better, slightly.
By the way, slight plug to a video we recorded a couple of months ago now, Space Flight in Real Life, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Real Life and Sci-Fi.
We mentioned the intro
we did mention the intro.
Enterprise, that's true.
So, plug there, go watch that video. There's a little bit more discussion about the intro there. But tell us also what you think. Is this intro better or is the Enterprise one better?
Yes, exactly. All right, digging into the episode, we kind of get like 2 points. We have debate class. Basically, Jaden is like, hey, everyone's talking about this. This is what we're going to debate, actually. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what we're going to talk about, which I thought was great. And so we get him kind of preparing for the debate he's having. And we also get the flashbacks to what he was doing 16 months before we pick up with him at Starfleet Academy. Mm-hmm. So we get to see the dynamic of his relationship with his brother and his father and how that works and how it influences his character.
Fathers.
Yeah, but we only see him and one of his fathers.
Yes. 2 fathers, 1 mother, by the way.
So
he can biologically exist, unlike the Jem'Hadar lady.
Yes, this is true. We'll get to that point because she has a highlight that you like.
Yes, actually, there's a massive highlight about her. Yeah.
So, but we get these flashbacks and we kind of see that his brother was really like supporting him and like recognizing you focus on healing, you focus on saving people. Like, this is your character, this is your heart. You're kind of a pacifist, which is very weird for a Klingon, but like, I'm for you. Like, I can be a warrior, so you can be this, right? And that's the kind of dynamic he has with his brother, where his brother's like striving to help him get out to pursue what he wants to do, which is really good.
But I think that it was a little bit more that was what Jaden was thinking, was that he's different than the other Klingons because he's a pacifist, where his brother is what like actually saw the kind of truth behind it, which is, no, you're not a warrior because you're a pacifist. Yeah, you're a warrior in different ways.
Yeah, you're
which is kind of what we were talking about when Gabe was here for the previous episode. We were kind of discussing, like, do you need to be like do Klingons need to be Klingon? Do Vulcans need to be Vulcan? Yeah. And so this episode kind of sets up, yes, Klingons do need to be Klingon. But
there's different ways of being combative.
Yes, there are different ways to express that. And I completely agree with that. And I think that they handle it really well in this episode and telling a story about it. So
I 110% agree. And his brother is for him being for a different form of combat, and kind of like one of the tensions of the episode that is resolved in the monologue that the Jem'Hadar lady gives is like his father. We get to see his brother dies because he's trying to get him some Starfleet technology, and he's like, I could have saved my brother if I had that. Like, I could have saved my brother if I had this stuff. And his dad takes him out to hunt and like go through the ritual of becoming a warrior. And he like expresses that he can't do it. Like, he tries to shoot the bird, but he just can't. Yeah. And his dad takes the bow and fires off shots and misses, and he's like, oh, I ruined his hunt. And then his family leaves him, right? Mm-hmm. So like that happens. Mm-hmm. But we get that kind of reframed, but that kind of brings us back into the present day plot where Jaden is not accepting help from anyone, really. Yeah. He is like...
Especially as it relates to the debate.
As it relates to the debate. Like, he's literally just like, I got it. Mm-hmm. Like, even though he doesn't. And we got that shown at the beginning, like, he's struggling, dude.
Right.
He has a moment with the fish boy. I don't even remember that guy's name.
I have
the
no
character
idea.
that should already be dead. In my opinion. But then we get ready to settle into the debate, and so the debate begins, and we see, other students debating each other. It's pretty good. Then we get Caleb and Jaden are against each other, and Caleb's just going off the facts, and he's just like listing everything out.
You likened him to Ben Shapiro.
I did. It was kind of funny. He's somewhat of a Ben Shapiro, yeah.
Yeah. He's listing all the facts.
Listing all of the facts.
But doesn't care for some of the context and some of the actual ideas behind the facts, which is really important to Jaden. Yes,
because Jaden starts to rebuttal, and they both start to get emotional because basically Jaden earlier in the episode tells Caleb, you're not my brother. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't be, you know? And so, get out of my life because you're not my brother.
Right.
And
I don't want you to replace my brother.
Yeah, because that affects Caleb because... Since he's been at Starfleet Academy, he hasn't really found anyone except for Jaden that is understands him and also cares for him in a brotherly fashion. Right. He has whatever the relationship with his roommates, but he doesn't like them. Yeah. So it's hard to do that. So he's hurt. So he's just letting all that out in his argument, and Jaden is rebuffing it, and they get
But it's supposed to be a very professional, serious argument in front of a stage, and the doctor's there. He's no personal attacks, first warning, no personal attacks, second warning. And then they really go at each other.
Just going at it.
And the doctor's just stop, until eventually he has to walk up right in front of them and scream at them and tell them to leave.
Yeah, and so they go their separate ways after the doctor breaks them up. And Jaden is in his room. The Jim Hadar lady shows up, and we kind of get he shares what he's feeling, and I'm laying down my Klingon people. I am not I am for them, but somehow I'm not one of them. And she's like, no, that's not true. And then he tells her the story of his dad and how he was left behind. And she's recontextualizes that to be, no, he realized that you're not a warrior
in that way.
You're a different type of combatant, and he wasn't going to force you to be that one way. He was going to free you to do it differently.
Specifically, what she mentioned is that there was a sort of battle in a way that went on, an intellectual battle between Jaden and his father, and his father recognized that he had lost and that Jaden had won, and so missing the shot was a recognition of his son's victory, and then he left so that Jaden could be free to go join Starfleet Academy.
Yes. And that monologue inspires Jaden to he gets his brother's necklace, which he has, and puts it on, and is I am Klingon. I am combative. It's just different. It's not I'm not trying to kill everyone, but it's you see him because the entire show he's been deflecting, even verbal and physical altercations. And so when him and Caleb start fighting each other basically verbally, that's the first time and he's kind of almost provoked to physical stuff, which is why Doctor breaks him up. It's the first time you see him kind of actually engage in that way. Right. So it's no, he's not Klingon. He is. It's just the way he expresses that is different.
Right.
And then he gets back up on podium, gives a monologue, and offers a solution. They can't do the Starfleet thing, which is forcing the Klingons to take a planet, right? Mm-hmm. So they gotta do it a Klingon way. It's a Klingon problem, they need a Klingon solution. Mm-hmm. So he provides one. And that's what we get as kind of the resolution of the episode, is we get a bit of Starfleet going out, and in order to get the Klingons to take a planet that they can become their next homeworld, they have to engage them in combat and lose. Right. So the Klingons
provoke them to a fight, lose the fight, and then they can look honorable in the fight. They can say, "Oh, we won. We actually fought you. And we took spoils of war."
Yeah, and
we also can take some pride in the fact that we beat the Federation.
Yeah, and this planet is the fruit of our, battle.
Right.
And that's what happens. And Jaden is correct, and the Klingons are able to take the planet. And then the Klingon guy who is
I forget his name. He is a sort of leader to the Klingons, not in an official capacity, but in a station of high honor capacity.
And he's also kind of Nala's ex-boyfriend, question mark?
Yeah, it really seems like that.
Weird stuff going on there, but he basically gives Jaden the honor of being a warrior by handing him the bow.
Yes.
And it's you proved, Like, it's not in the traditional sense, but you prove that you're a warrior. Right.
Just a different expression, but you're still a Klingon warrior.
Yes. And then we get him and Caleb breaking bread over and eating the thing that's happened in the beginning, which is the Klingon food that only Klingon warriors can eat after they become a warrior.
Right.
And then just like, yeah, Jaden recognizes that, like, I thought it was like an either or. Like, I could either have the memory of my brother or I could have you as a friend. And it's like, not. Right. And, like, you guys are similar and you bring out the best in people and you lead well.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleb's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm an asshole, basically.
Yeah. So a bit of reconciliation between them.
And it was really good. And, like, yeah, this episode was just good, man. Like, I enjoyed this. This is a nice change of pace from episodes. This basically the entire rest of episode 1 minus the first 20 minutes. Episode 2 and episode 3. This was actually, like, a solid, good episode that I enjoyed and focused on the two characters that have been the best, whether they have been the best characters, they've been the best comedy in the show, they have had the best action. Like, literally, it focuses on Caleb and Jaden, and, like, those are the only two reasons that I am watching the show, basically. Yeah. I like those characters.
Yeah. A couple of highlights as well is we mentioned earlier the Gemhead Our Lady.
Yeah.
Cadet Master. I don't remember her name.
Me neither.
But she really shines in this episode.
She does.
And she really shines overall when they just make her... when they bring out her more Klingon side. Rather than the Gemhead R stuff. And obviously there's some confusion about that. And, like, how does that work? And I know Trek Culture put out a video a couple of days ago that I haven't seen yet about, like, oh, how this could work. I'm assuming they're just going to say basically more bioengineering.
Probably.
Which would make sense, but let's not focus on that. Let's focus on her being a Klingon and her being a mentor to this cadet Klingon.
Yeah.
And they're kind of the only two ones in Starfleet. Like, with in The Next Generation, with Worf being in Starfleet, that was a rarity. Like, in fact, I think that was the only time, essentially, that had happened. Like, it was monumental. And it kind of needs to be the same thing here, except there are two of them here, and so you can have kind of the mentor-mentee relationship between them. Yeah. And I think that that's really good. That's where she really shines as a character. It really helps Jaden to shine more as a character as well. And also, Gemhead Our Lady's kind of relationship with Chancellor Ake helps her shine there, because Ake is trying to be more of a mentor role as well, especially to Caleb.
Yeah.
And so kind of getting that between Ake and Gemhead Our Lady... We really need to remember her name, by the way. Yeah. So anyway, big highlight of the episode there. And then another big highlight is kind of what you were saying. The first 20 minutes of episode 1 were the best so far, except for this episode 4. Yeah. Those were the best minutes of this show. And they were out in space and actually doing things out in space.
And they did go out in space and do stuff in this episode.
And in this episode, it was the same. First of all, we started the episode out there kind of like in a nebula. Also, we don't get reasoning why they're doing that.
Yeah, they're just kind of exploring, I think. Yeah. But I one thing I will say, I think that this show shines best when there's conflict. Like, there's conflict between Caleb and Ake in those first 20 minutes, right? And there's still that, like, whenever they're on screen together, like, he's still pushing back against all the things that she's throwing out there. And there's a little bit of conflict between him and, like, joining Starfleet Academy in the first episode. Yeah. And then, obviously...
between him and Jaden.
Yeah, and then Paul Giamatti's character in that first episode. And in this episode, there's conflict. Jaden is at conflict with everyone, basically. Yeah. And, like, it's good, and there's something they have to solve and an issue. And the other 2 episodes we've watched, it's like, what's the issue? Yeah. Like,
we mentioned while we were watching it that there's a big difference in writing and in storytelling between when you have a idea you want to develop and an idea that you want to, like, see how you can apply it to a universe like Star Trek, and you take that idea and you say, okay, how will these characters react to this idea? Yeah. Right? Versus, hey, I want this like certain specific plot point to happen. Yeah. Right? In episode 2, it was, I want Caleb and Betazoid Lady to
become a thing.
Yeah, become a thing for the teen romance stuff that we have going on. And so we're going to have to, like, force a problem to exist so that they can happen. It wasn't very strong. But in this episode, there's this idea of, like, what are Klingons? How is Starfleet supposed to actually interact with that? the conflict, like you mentioned, how is that going to be resolved between both kind of conflict between Starfleet and Klingons, as well as between Caleb and Jaden.
Yeah.
Those are ideas that are simply applied to characters. And that's where any story really shines. And so that's where this episode was a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree.
Now, we do kind of need to get into the whole point of this series is supposed to be Caleb trying to find his mom.
Yeah,
and we've
we
kind of
addressed that at the end where he's like, maybe I am a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I like.
But
we need to get back on that focus train because
that was literally the intro to the show was literally him as a kid and his mom.
Yes.
Right? Like, we have to get a resolution to the first scene that we saw.
Yeah, we do.
And we're just not going anywhere.
Well, we have 6 episodes left.
I think.
We do. So there's plenty of time to focus on that. I do think we're in the middle of the show. This was a really good first character focus episode. Because, like, we last week was a character focus episode, quotation marks, not really. Like, it was like, oh, we're focusing on the Admiral's daughter and the fish guy. But, like, not really, you know what I mean? Like, but this episode was like, we're focusing on Jaden. And I like that. Right. And we'll probably focus...
And he's like the best character in the show. He's such a good character.
He is. And we'll inevitably have one for Sam and, I don't know, the Jim Hadar people.
And eventually, presumably, we'll also have Caleb and his mom and also Ake and Caleb stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And also, like, this builds Caleb and Jaden's relationship, so it would make sense for Jaden to make a more primary role in the Caleb-focused episode, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it's kind of...
Because in a way, actually, Caleb was helping Jaden by being an adversary, to formulate an argument, which eventually got the Klingons their new homeworld.
Yeah.
So now... as him being in that supportive role for Jaden here, maybe we'll get a supportive role of Jaden for Caleb in his search for his mother.
Yeah, it's iron sharpening iron,
So I think that'll be really interesting. The massive lore dump of this episode of Kronos is Gone is awesome. Yes, I just have to come back to that real quick before we end. That is awesome. I love when they create, like, I maybe don't necessarily like the way that they the way that they dealt with the burn in Discovery. But the idea of it is cool, right? The idea of Kronos being gone is really cool, and I like what they do with it, right? So this is just a massive highlight of this series so far, is the lore dump of Kronos, and we need more of that in Star Trek.
We do. I definitely agree. Yeah. But I don't think there's a whole lot more to say about this episode.
Just let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. I think 7.5. Like, this is like 3/4 of the way to perfect. You know what I mean? Like... It's the best episode we've seen so far, and
I'd put it at an 8. I think.
Yeah,
I have
fair.
High praise for this episode. I would even put it. If you take this individual episode, and every individual episode of every Star Trek that has ever existed, it is
a solid episode.
Yeah, it is in the top of the rankings of every episode. Maybe not every season or every show, but this episode taken individually versus every other episode of Star Trek taken individually, this is a highlight of all Star Trek.
Yes, I agree. And it's so funny because the rest of the show is like
down there. Yeah. It's not as good.
But we really enjoyed that. Again, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. With that being said, good morning, good evening, and good night. God bless.